Another element, a financial analyst for an investment company came in and said the risks of not producing oil and gas in Colorado are already, the uncertainty baked into our economic future based on this bill are already creating price compression in valuations. That means that the money that would be spent to build out the energy to power America, the energy to keep America safe, the dollars driving that are not coming to Colorado. They're going elsewhere, where they get better valuations, where the environment is not so uncertain. So that has a negative impact that reverberates through our economy. At the end of the day, translates into lost jobs, lost opportunities, and less money in people's paychecks, and less potentially beneficial aspects of good-paying jobs in Colorado. And here's the thing. As you look at different industries and different elements of our economy, some elements have a big multiplier effect, meaning when that particular element of industry or that sector of our economy spends $1, it gets multiplied. That dollar gets spent once, and it gets spent again, and it gets spent again, and it gets spent again. Other elements of our economy are very consumptive in nature. The dollar gets spent, and the story's over. There is no multiplication associated with that. When you look at those economic realities, we have, in this conversation, both ends of the spectrum. The heavy industry of oil and gas, of energy production, is one of those elements of the economy that has a significant high multiplier effect. The regulatory burden of government and the expansion of government is on the opposite end of the spectrum. It has a zero or close to zero multiplier effect. It lands like a thud. It, in fact, doesn't multiply again. So those are some of the elements with regard to the economic impact. Let me give you some thoughts that were gathered from folks who are a whole lot smarter than I am and project what some of those potential economic consequences could be. A projection. This is potentially a moderate projection. If SB 181 shuts down 50%, half of the new oil and gas production, the impacts by 2030 would be 120,000 fewer jobs across all sectors. Part of that will be in the oil fields themselves. Part of that will be the multiplier effect of the other jobs that support that will not happen. Over $8 billion in lost state and local tax revenues from 2020 through 2030. And over $158 million in lost GDP, gross domestic product, for the state from 2020 to 2030. So 120,000 fewer jobs. And I won't even go to the upper bound. You've heard that just because the bill doesn't say moratorium or prohibition, it therefore can't possibly exist. The reality is, you don't have to write the word into the bill to get the economic impact, get the economic effect. You can get a prohibition or a partial prohibition without the word ever appearing anywhere. So you don't have to call it that to have the economic impact of that.